Hi, so this is gonna be everything I've ever knit slash sewed. Well, I didn't sew as much, but I still wanted to include them in here. And I've been thinking of making this video for a while because I love watching the roundups of what everyone made at the end of every year. I've always wanted to film something like this, but I don't have as many finished objects to show for myself, so I didn't ever really feel like it was something that I was able to do. So yeah, I'm showing you everything I've ever knit and also kind of talking about my knitting journey and sewing journey, which is very short, but my knitting journey is a little longer. It started in 2022. I don't know where it came from. I just asked my mom to show me how to knit because she knit when she was my age. Yeah, she told me how she knit herself a skirt in uni, and I don't know, I thought it was really cool making your own clothes. So I wanted to learn how to do it, and she showed me how to knit and how to purl, and I practiced that on some acrylic yarn. I just did some practices. Some rows were garter stitch, some were like purls and knits, and so it was not a project. And then I kind of forgot about it, didn't knit for a while. And then in 2023, I started my first project because it was still something I really wanted to do. And I started with this top. It's kind of hard to show. It's a halter neck style top, and I used a YouTube tutorial for it. It's in German, but I can link it if you're interested. I'll try to link every pattern I used if I use the pattern. If not, I can link my Ravelry notes. I used an acrylic yarn for it because I didn't really know about different yarn qualities, and I just saw it at a store. I was like, oh, something I can knit with. And it was cheap and I got it because this is acrylic yarn and it's the summer top. I get very hot in it, but I still wear it sometimes because I like the color and I think it's cute, and it's my first project. Oh, and I have my Ravelry notes. I used 1.5 skeins and I started it on April 1st, 2023 and finished it on April 30th, 2023. For my first knit, I think that was a quick one. Then to my second knit. This is my second knit. This is the Summer Secret Crop by Jessie May Designs. I used cotton yarn for this because I realized, you know what, acrylic yarn probably not the best. I also started watching a lot of knitting podcasts back then, and they were all talking about synthetic yarns suck, and I was like, yeah, you have a point. So I started using cotton yarn. This is the cotton yarn from Sister Greno, and I did this little tie-up detail because I was kind of scared that it was gonna stretch while wearing, so I thought it was good if I had the straps be adjustable. I started this project on May 7th and finished it on June 10th. Okay, so my next project, I took so long for this. This is just a scarf. I didn't really look at patterns for this. Well, when I started it, at first, I didn't really check out any patterns. I just cast on 40 stitches. I wanted to make like a skinny scarf because I only had like huge scarves, which I felt suffocated in, so I wanted to knit something a little more skinny. But actually, like, I think this is the perfect width. I love wearing this. I wear this a lot. I cast this on August 5th and finished the project on November 29th. So it took me a while, but I had to unravel it a couple of times. From this top, I really liked the way like the straps worked out, and I was like, what if I use that for a scarf? And then I kind of messed up with the stitch count. Kind of looked uneven because I started on a knit stitch and ended on a purl stitch, so it didn't look the same. So I went into a bookstore. I saw the knitting books and there was a knitting pattern for a scarf. I saw they had an odd number of stitches cast on. I was like, yeah, that actually makes sense. That's why my scarf kind of looks ugly. And I also saw a pattern using the seed stitch and I was like, that's actually so cute. I think I unraveled it 3 times and started over, and I really loved the end product. I used the wool blend from sewn. I used a lot of sewn yarn in the beginning, and I used 2 skeins and just knit until I didn't have any yarn left. Scarves are actually pretty easy to knit. And I don't know why it took me so long. Then 2024 came around and I didn't really knit a lot that year. I started a project in March of 2024 because I had this idea of a bag being like fuzzy. I think I saw a picture on Pinterest that I really liked, which was like a hot pink little bag. Then I kind of tried to make it up on my own. I did like the sketch. I can put it up here somewhere. But I had an idea of like knitting in the round and casting on 120 stitches because I thought it was gonna be small. Why did I cast on so many stitches if I wanted a small little bag? I don't know. And then I did like a little row at the bottom, which I was gonna sew in at the end. Well, I did. I can show you. So I knit the body in the round and I sewed in at the bottom the little panel, and I also added a little clasp. The problem is it doesn't really stay put, and I've been wanting to put in a lining for a while, but I haven't. I made the straps so short because I was afraid I was gonna lose yarn chicken, and I just went to the dollar store and found some yarn. I added some sequins and some pearls to the pink yarn. I held this pink yarn double and a fuzzy yarn with like yarn that also had like green little sequins double because I also wanted it to be sturdy, to be able to hold a bunch of stuff. I think it in part took so long because of the sequins, because I had it like stocked up on the yarn and then I had to pull it and it was just annoying. I don't know. It was not fun. So I cast this on March 7th and I finished it on September 20th, 2024. It took the whole summer. But it was fun to have a project, I guess. For the most part of the year, this was my knitting project. Also, in summer 2024, I got into sewing. I watched a bunch of like sewing YouTube videos and I was like, I want to create more than just knit items. I want to create my whole wardrobe basically, which is, you know, still a goal for me for the future. I did my first sewing project because I bought a sewing machine, and it's just like a bag that you can like tie clothes. I put my knitting projects in it when I'm on the go. I didn't know yet that you have to finish raw edges. I'm glad it's held up. I mean, it's held up since 2024. I'm using it a lot when I travel. After I finally finished the bag in September, I thought, okay, I'm gonna knit something like small, little accessory now. I started knitting a scarf. I think Petite Knit's Sophie scarf came out in 2024. A lot of people have asked me if what I'm wearing is the Sophie scarf, like people who don't knit but who have seen the pattern around on the internet. It is not. It is actually a free pattern from sewn, and it's also worked up very differently. It's knit with a mohair yarn. It's not in garter stitch. It's in stockinette, and it has little eyelets at the side. This is what it looks like. I used also sewn's mohair. Here are the eyelets, and I just wear it like this, and I have worn it a lot also. Like accessories I think are perfect knits because I do get to wear them a bunch. But before I finished this, I was thinking about Christmas because Christmas was coming around. I decided to knit this scarf for my mom, but in a different color. At that point, I didn't really know that most people find mohair itchy. I just thought it was like fuzzy yarn and soft. It is not. I don't think she has worn it a lot. And I actually do wear mine. I don't actually mind that much that it's itchy, but I get why other people don't like to wear mohair. And the one for my mom I finished in a couple of days. I started it on December 3rd, finished it on December 11th. And then we start with 2025, so last year. And I finished this in 2025. So I cast this on September 27th. Then I kind of like not really actively knit on it. And then in February of 2025, I finally got it done. I'm very glad. I wore it a lot. This is my next project. I cast this on so long ago. I have to check my Ravelry notes. But first, this is the Cocoa Mohair Slip Over by Katrine Hannibal at Önling. It's not a free pattern, but I got it for free because I signed up to their newsletter and I could choose a free pattern from that, and I chose this one. I think I struggled a lot with this because I cast this on December 18th, 2023. I had a lot of issues with the cast on because it was a stretchy cast on and I have never done that before. The pattern linked to a YouTube tutorial, but it was in Norwegian. I think it was Norwegian, but it was kind of difficult to understand what was going on. And so I think I did like the ribbing and it was wrong. I left it for I think a year, and then in November of 2024 I redid the ribbing. I think I knit up to like here somewhere, and then I stopped. And in February of last year of 2025 I was like, you know what, I'm not scared of this pattern anymore, because I was kind of scared. I never had to like put stitches on hold and then continue knitting, but it was actually not as difficult as I had made up in my head. The other problem was, since I bought this yarn in 2023, I didn't have enough yarn. This is also sestrine yarn. The mohair held with the wool blend. I didn't have enough, and I also had different colors. So you can see there's like this stripe at the front. This was because I didn't have enough yarn of the that I use for the rest of the body. For the ribbing, I used the same yarn as for the stripe. I don't think it's that noticeable, and I wear it a lot because it's comfy and I like the drape of the garment. I also didn't really stick to the pattern. I used way bigger needle sizes. I have a tight knitting gauge, so I'm glad I sized up a lot. The next pattern I finished was this little headband. It's the rose cotton headband by Bodil Matson. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. This has a little lace motif and I really like the color. It's the sestrine cotton again. I like wearing it a lot. I think it's very, very cute and flattering. I cast this on June 12th and finished it on June 23rd. My next finished object is the Sulkanoile by Villahulu. I actually got her book in the beginning of 2025. I saw this pattern in it in a yarn store and I kind of fell in love, and this was my first finished object using like yarn other than dollar store yarn or sestrine yarn, and this was also my first color work project. I also tried catching floats. Well, I did, I guess, but it made like this weird bunching. I don't know how to combat that. Maybe someone has tips. But yeah, I used the recommended yarn, which was Istex alla Faslopi, and I cast this on March 2nd and finished on July 8th. My next finished object was the beanie number 6 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I bought the pattern in March or April because I saw a video by Woozy by Celine and she had knit this, and I just fell in love and I was like, I need it right now. Yeah, so I got the yarn for it, but I only started knitting on it after I finished my Sulkanoile. I used the Gepard yarn Teddy Deer, the recommended, and the Woolia from Gepard yarn. I just got one skein of the Teddy Deer yarn since I also saw Woozy by Celine doing it and I didn't want it to be as bulky as like other photos I saw on Ravelry. And I love it. I've worn it so much. It's like the perfect hat for winter. It keeps me so warm. Yeah, no complaints. Oh, the next pattern I knit I also don't have with me. It was a gift knit for my nephew. I knit him some little mittens, and I used some tweed yarn because I liked the little speckles in it. It was also a free pattern from Sestrine again because I had it saved for a while and I thought they looked really cute. They have grown-up sizes and kid sizes. The pattern was not written very well. I think there were some mistakes, but maybe the mistakes were also because it was translated to German, because I looked at the German pattern. But yeah, I started the project on August 20th and completed on August 31st. Then I kind of decided to knit something for my boyfriend because he loved my hat, my beanie number 6. I was like, yeah, I can totally knit you that because it didn't take as long. It was a very quick knit. But then he was like, actually, I need gloves. Do you want to knit me some gloves? And I was like, okay, let me check Ravelry for free patterns, also for men's mittens. And I found the basic glove pattern by Harry Wells. I really liked the challenge. I think it was not as difficult as I thought it was gonna be. And I used the Lana Grossa Cool Wool Merino Superfine. I think it was also the recommended yarn of the pattern. This was a pattern I started on September 4th and I completed it on October 5th. And then I kind of took a break knitting. Oh no, actually before I do that, I forgot that I sewed something in September of 2025. It's the first thing, like the first garment I've ever sewn. Also the only till this day. It's the Skyline dress by Sydney Graham. I love her YouTube channel. I used an old bed sheet my mom gave me. It's 100% linen. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I love it. I've worn it a couple of times. Maybe I can add in a picture where I've worn it, but I think it's very cute. And it's a lot. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's long. And it has like this cute tie detail at the back. Yeah. But you know, after like September, October, I was on a knitting break for a while. In January, I started a project because there was gonna be a baby born in my family. I looked for patterns on Ravelry for like blankets. I found this bunny mini cuddly blankie by Pat Alineyad. I'm gonna put the name up here, but it looks like this. I still have to give it to them, but it's so cute. It's my first time doing like stuffing, and this is also cotton. It's Sestrine cotton. It's the same yarn I used for the straps of the crop top, the green crop top. It's because I still had a lot left over. I started it on January 11th and completed it on February 9th. The last project or finished object I'm gonna show you are the basic ribbed socks by Kate Atherley. It's also a free pattern on Ravelry. I also use the Lana Grossa Cool Wool for socks. I think it's a really nice like self-striping yarn. I bought this yarn in 2024 because I was like, I want to get into sock knitting. Then I didn't cast something on for like months because I was kind of scared. I finally found this pattern because I was looking through different patterns, one that would match the yarn I got. Yeah, I think this pattern was great for a newbie to sock knitting. I cast this on April 25th. I think I got the first sock done last summer. The second sock took me so long. I just cast this off yesterday, I think. No, 2 days ago, but I wove in the ends yesterday. First sock, I had so much fun. The second one, I kind of had to push myself to get it done. I also messed up on the second sock. As you can see, I didn't really do the decreases correctly. I kind of messed up counting. But I don't know, I don't feel like doing it again, and I'm glad they're done. Because as you can tell, like this looks really nice. And this looks kind of wonky, but who's gonna notice if it's gonna be on my feet anyway? Yeah, and that's actually everything. I have one whip, and this I cast on in October of 2025, and I didn't really find time afterwards to continue knitting on this. I think I'm kind of a monogamous knitter, so having like these unfinished socks made me not want to continue on this. It's by Saskiko, her name on Instagram. I think she was called the Petite Knitter before. It's the Alpine Parka sweater that I'm knitting, and I'm knitting with the, she had 2 yarns recommended, and I'm knitting with the unspun yarn. And it's my first time knitting with unspun yarn. It's the Manchalopi. You have to be really careful because I'm such a tight knitter. I have to be careful not to pull on the yarn. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope this was interesting enough. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.